savings account is shrinking, not in dollars, in what those dollars can buy. You keep $10,000 in checking. The bank pays you maybe 40 cents a month in interest. Inflation runs 3 to 4%. Every year, the purchasing power of that $10,000 drops by $300 to $400. You didn't withdraw it, you didn't spend it, you just left it in a bank account where it was supposed to be safe. Today, inflation is on trial. 7 specific lies the financial industry tells you about why your savings should sit in a low-yield account, while inflation eats it from the inside. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the actual cost of leaving money in the wrong place. Sit down. Court is in session. Welcome to Capital Court. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not on television. I don't work for a bank, a brokerage, or anybody who profits from your inattention. If you want to understand the system that runs your financial life, hit subscribe. New case every single day. Now, the defendant, the American banking industry, and the inflation it lets eat your savings. 7 lies. Let's begin. Exhibit A, lie number 1. A savings account is the safe place for your money. This is the first thing every parent told every kid. Put it in savings. Don't touch it. Let it grow. Here's the problem with that advice. Savings only grows if it earns interest faster than prices rise. The average American savings account in 2025 pays around 0.4%. Inflation has averaged about 3.2% over the last 5 years. That gap, 2.8% per year, is what you lose. On $10,000, that's $280 per year. Permanently, forever. While you sit there feeling responsible. The verdict on Exhibit A, guilty. Exhibit B, lie number 2. A little inflation is good for the economy. This is the line the Federal Reserve uses. The target inflation rate is 2%. They tell you that's healthy. Stable prices, modest growth, everyone happy. Healthy for whom? 2% inflation, compounded over 30 years, cuts the purchasing power of a dollar by about 45%. Your dollar today buys what 55 cents worth bought when you started saving. If wages tracked inflation perfectly, you'd be okay. They don't. For people who own assets, 2% inflation makes their assets worth more in nominal dollars. For people who hold cash, it makes their cash worth less. The policy isn't neutral. It's a wealth transfer from savers to asset owners, embedded in the Fed's mandate. The verdict on Exhibit B, guilty. Exhibit C. Lie number 3, real wage growth keeps you whole. The official story is that wages adjust for inflation. The Bureau of Labor Statistics publishes real wage data. The numbers show modest growth. The numbers are using the wrong inflation measure. The official CPI underweights housing, healthcare, and education, which are the 3 categories where inflation has been worst over the last 20 years. Your actual cost of living has risen faster than the official inflation index, and your wages have been benchmarked against the slower number. Even with the favorable measure, real median wages today are barely above where they were before the pandemic. The catch-up is mostly cosmetic. The structural gap remains. The verdict on Exhibit C, guilty. Exhibit D, lie number 4. Holding cash is conservative. In the financial industry's language, cash is the safe allocation. Conservative investors hold a higher percentage in cash. The implication is that cash protects you from risk. Cash protects you from one kind of risk and exposes you to another. It protects you from market volatility. It exposes you to inflation, which is also a market force, but one that hits cash holders directly and uniformly. Holding $10,000 in cash for 10 years at 3% inflation costs you roughly $2,600 in real purchasing power. That's not conservative. That's a guaranteed loss with extra steps. The verdict on Exhibit D, guilty. Exhibit E, lie number 5. The Federal Reserve protects your savings by managing inflation. The Federal Reserve's dual mandate includes price stability. The implication is that inflation is the Fed's enemy and your savings is what they're protecting. The Fed protects banks, not depositors. The Fed manages inflation to keep the financial system stable, not to keep your savings from losing value. The 2% target is well above 0. 0 would actually preserve purchasing power. 2% guarantees erosion. Every year by design. If the Fed wanted to preserve savings, they could target 0 inflation. They don't. Because 0 inflation would make borrowing more expensive and asset prices lower, which the banking system would not survive in its current form. The verdict on Exhibit E, guilty. Exhibit F, lie number 6. The official inflation rate accurately measures cost of living. The Consumer Price Index gets updated monthly. Government economists adjust it for substitution effects, quality improvements, and seasonal variation. The result is a number that looks precise. Look at how the methodology has changed over 40 years. Owner's equivalent rent replaced actual housing costs. Hedonic adjustments reduced the measured cost of goods that improved in quality. Substitution adjustments assume consumers switch to cheaper alternatives when prices rise. Each methodology change made the reported number lower than it would have been under earlier methods. If you measured inflation today using the methodology from 1980, it would be running about 2 to 3 percentage points higher than the official rate. That delta, over decades, is enormous. The verdict on Exhibit F, guilty. Exhibit G, lie number 7. There's nothing you can do about it. The implication of every financial article that explains inflation is that it's a natural force. You can't control it. You just have to live with it. You can't control inflation. You can control where your money sits. A high-yield savings account today pays 4 to 5%. Treasury bills pay about the same. Ibonds adjust automatically for inflation. Money market funds yield within 50 basis points of the federal funds rate. Each of these is more boring than a stock, more accessible than ever, and none of them are secret. The reason you don't know about them is that nobody in the banking industry has any incentive to tell you. Your low-yield savings is their cheapest funding source. Moving to alternatives takes 10 minutes online. The fact that most people don't is the moat the industry counts on. The verdict on Exhibit G, guilty. So what does all of this mean? You've been told that inflation is unfortunate, normal, and uncontrollable. None of those things are true in the way you've been told. Inflation is by design. The 2% target is policy. The official rate understates the lived experience. The banking industry profits when you leave cash in low-yield accounts. The Federal Reserve protects asset prices, not depositors. Here is the part most people miss. The wealth gap between asset owners and cash savers is not a side effect. It is the mechanism. Every year that you hold cash earning less than the inflation rate, wealth transfers from your household to the people and institutions holding assets. This has been the pattern for 40 years. It has not been an accident. You weren't supposed to do the math. The fact that the math is simple was supposed to be hidden by complexity. Now you've done it. The verdict of this court: the American financial system is designed to make inflation invisible to savers and obvious to investors. The cost of leaving money in a low-yield bank account is real, ongoing, and avoidable. The industry counts on your inattention. Now you know. If this changed something for you, hit subscribe. New case every day. Tomorrow we put the housing market on trial. The crash everyone keeps predicting will never come, and we'll show you why. While inflation eats your savings, here's one thing you can do today. In the description below, you'll find a high-yield savings account paying around 10 times what your bank pays you right now. It takes 10 minutes to open. Affiliate link. Use it if you want to support the channel. Court is adjourned. See you tomorrow.